it almost feels like a second chance. It feels like a chance to do it all over again. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I don't see many people going down this path either. I don't think a lot of guys when they get to a certain level that they willing to put their balls on the line. And I've seen it happen over and over and over again with different guys, and that I just don't model myself after anybody. I'm gonna do what I feel is in my heart to do, and it's in my heart to fight. And this is the fight that's in front of me. This is the opportunity that God's presenting me, and I'm gonna make the most out of it.
Kevin Lee is here at the airport because, like myself, I am down in the southern part of the United States, and
Yep.
we're getting clobbered with tropical storms, but we
Yep.
battled through, and now you're getting ready to head to your old home state of Michigan. Lights Out Championship 17 against Tiago Oliveira. It
Yep.
just makes too much sense for the return being the Motown phenom and all. Kevin, how are you, my man, outside of the travel issues?
I'm good. I'm good. We make do with what we got. So, this is part of the game. I don't let nothing, especially little stuff like this, I don't let it affect me. I'm excited to go back home. I'm excited to fight. I'm excited I get an opportunity. So that's all I was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, you've been hungry to get back in there. You were hoping it would be for the UFC, but now MMA in Michigan, then a bare knuckle MMA fight. How excited are you
Yep.
to just have something on the books, like a date, I guess 2 dates on the calendar that you can work towards?
Yeah, I mean, anybody who is a professional fighter knows like having that date really sets the training in motion. It really kind of gives you a sense of purpose almost. I've been fighting for a long time, right? So it's not like I'm hung up on fighting for the UFC. um that's where I built my career, and I feel like I've given a lot to the company. But if that's not what's next, then that's not what's next. I'll fight somewhere else. And that's what I'm gonna do. And maybe it is a part of it that I got to show my worth to them still. Um, it's a little crazy to say that at this point in my career, given how much I've actually done for the company. Um, but I think I'm very opinionated, and I think that may have rubbed Dana wrong a few times. Um, I made some comments about the Apex Center, and I guess that may be rubbing wrong. But listen, this is what I do. This is part of being me. If people ask me a question, I give them a true and honest answer. Um, and at the same time, I've never done anybody wrong in this industry. From media guys uh to everybody. Publicists, the PR, everybody in the backstage of the UFC. I feel like everybody I've touched, I've done right. So at the end of the day, I can hold my head up. Regardless of where I fight next. Versus,
This fight on Saturday, as far as like the overall news cycle goes, this thing came out of nowhere, man. Like, how did this all happen? How did you end up getting on this card?
yeah, it was real short notice. Um, like I let everybody know I'm interested in fighting again. Uh, and whoever came with the first deal is what I was gonna sign. Whoever was the first opponent to actually sign the line, and actually say that they would fight me is where I was showing up. So this came about 2 weeks ago. And they said that this kid is willing to fight. So I've been training. I've been in the gym. Let's put it on the line and see what makes it happen. Um, I'm not somebody who turns down any fights. I'm somebody who fought Charles Oliveira on short notice. Uh, Showed up to Brazil like 2 weeks before the fight. Flew all the way back to Canada again. I'm kind of used to these type of adventures. So this is just another page in my career.
You you had opened some eyes when you went on Anik and Florian not that long ago, and you talked about first promotion that comes forward, first promoter that comes with a fighter that's willing to sign the dotted line. I'm ready to go. And you had talked about just like how much you wanted to just try to get the train to leave the station and get your career back just rolling. Even
Yep.
saying that you offered to fight on Dana White's Contender Series,
Yeah.
but the matchmaker said no. So is that true? And why did they say no? Because it would make so much sense to get you on there if you're offering. How many extra eyeballs would that show get?
You know, I think it makes sense too. I think I don't know exactly what the problem is. Um, I honestly don't know. It's not the numbers, right? Um, I've heard Dana kind of brag about Bilal Muhammad when he wrapped the belt around him, and he bragged that he got more views than any other champion, and it was like 20 million views or something. But my brother did a small video for me, getting ready for my last fight in the Apex Center, and keep this in mind. This is a prelim Apex Center card fight, and my brother did a post and it got 12 million views compared to a champion that did 20 million views, and Dana's bragging about it. So I don't think that's the issue. I don't think the issue is me not willing to show up and put on great fights, because that's all I've ever done. Honestly, I can't point to what the issue is. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I offered to do that fight. I think it would have been big. I think it would have been great for Dana White Contender Series, but the offer's off the table at this point. I offered it. They said no. We'll move on. Nope, no sweat off my brow.
Yeah, and now you get Thiago Oliveira at Lights Out Championship 17.
Yep,
I'm sure you would have fought absolutely anybody they
yep.
put in front of you, but do you know much about him? And I'm sure it didn't even matter at the end of the day.
It didn't matter, and this just goes to show how serious I am about what I said. When I say I'm going to do something, that's seriously what I'm looking to do, and that's one of the things that I built my career off of. Uh, I said I'll fight whoever's willing to show up, and that's what I'll do. I mean, this is what the UFC used to be about. The UFC used to be anybody, anytime, anywhere, blah blah blah. I heard that when I was like 16, and then I was like, oh, that's fucking badass. Like, let me try and be that. And here I am at 32 being that. So um, I don't really know too much about him. I know his name. He's got a real Brazilian-y type of name. And I think that he'll go out there and he'll put on a great fight. So that's all I'm looking forward to.
You're kind of like a renaissance man to a certain level, because yeah, you see fighters exit the UFC and they go back on the regional scene, but not a lot of guys who have fought for belts and been in main events and been as well known as you are have basically had to almost start over again and build this way back up. Like, how much does this mean to you, just this fight, this opportunity, knowing what this could all lead to? Because again, not many people are taking this road that you are taking right now.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because that's kind of how it feels to me too. It feels like at the start of my career almost again. Um, which in itself is a little bit of excitement to it, because it almost feels like a second chance. It feels like a chance to do it all over again. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I don't see many people going down this path either. I don't think a lot of guys, when they get to a certain level, that they willing to put their balls on the line. And I've seen it happen over and over and over again with different guys, and that I just don't model myself after anybody. I'm gonna do what I feel is in my heart to do, and it's in my heart to fight. And this is the fight that's in front of me. This is the opportunity that God's presenting me, and I'm gonna make the most out of it.
Do you feel like more free, like less pressure, kind of going back to the grassroots, or does it feel like the Renat fight? Like, what's the feeling 48 hours before compared to other fights?
Um, a little more relaxed, but at the same time, there's still like a ton of pressure. There's a ton of pressure. When I go back home and I'm not a world champion, yeah, sure, I fought for a belt. I did blah blah blah, but I'm not a world champion, so I feel like I still have a lot left to prove. Um, and yeah, there's a ton of pressure. I mean, with experience comes a little bit more relaxation. With experience comes like, okay, I just know how these feelings go, and I know how to control them. But there's a ton of pressure, and I'm definitely feeling it for this fight.
So how does this all play out on Saturday? Your return to Michigan, fighting in front of old fans and all of that.
Yep,
How does this all go down on Saturday?
I'm gonna whoop his ass. I'm gonna whoop his ass. Uh, I'm gonna show his levels to the fight game. I'm gonna show his levels, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna show that I'm back and I'm healthy, and I'm ready to compete at 155 pounds. I know this fight is at 170, but that's because of the short notice. I'm coming back. I'm ready to compete at 155 pounds, and I can still compete with the best of the 155 pounders.
Couple last things. The Gamebred Bareknuckle signing. You're going to be fighting Saul Almeida on that November card, who coincidentally enough, I was actually the ring announcer for his most recent MMA win a couple years back. But I know he's done a lot of boxing and such in New England. But how did this all happen? Like getting you and Masvidal together for all of this? Like, how did you end up with that promotion as well?
So I never actually talked to Masvidal himself. I talked with Dean. I met him at PFL. You know, I went to a PFL card. He was sitting in the crowd. I told him I was interested in fighting. And he said, "Oh, well, I got something coming up in Mississippi," and it just kind of, worked that way. I was interested in signing with the PFL. Maybe that's something still in the future. I don't know right now. I'm not necessarily closed on the door on it, but they didn't have they didn't have nothing for me at the time, and he did. So again, I'm taking all comers. So if he came with the right deal, and we're gonna make it happen.
They got something cooking right now. It's just so different and interesting. Was there any hesitation at all with the bare knuckle aspect? I know that makes people feel a little bit different about fighting.
Nah, bare knuckle boxing, I'm hesitant about, because you're just standing there punching each other in the face. I got enough scars and stuff as it is. But bare knuckle MMA, I think is a cool little wrinkle to it. It's interesting, I do think it's going to change up the game, but I think it's something that my game, especially given my wrestling, my grappling, my kicking, those are the things that I'm strongest at. And I actually think that bare knuckle will probably help that a little bit. So I'm curious to see how I'm going to pan out. You see guys like Mike Perry really take bare knuckle boxing and take it to a different level because it fit his style really well. I think that bare knuckle MMA for me could be that thing that does that, or I could be that guy for bare knuckle MMA. I got great kicks, I got great wrestling, and I got great top pressure, and all of that kind of blends to bare knuckle the best.
Man. Last thing, again, this road you're taking, it's a road less traveled, and I'm sure in a perfect world, this all ends up with you back in the octagon or some major organization being a face and a focal point. 1 year from right now, September 2025. I know we don't look too far ahead, but let's just say you and I get on one of these calls a year from right now. We're talking about your next exciting thing. What are we talking about? You think, like, where are you? What are you doing, etc.?
I want to fight for a world title. I just want to fight the best guys. I don't care, am I hung up on the organizations? Not really. I want to fight the best guys and the guys that really will give me a challenge. And who people feel are unbeatable, I think it's a shame I never got to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. It's a shame if I don't ever get to fight Islam in his career. I think I pose threats for those guys that not a lot of other lightweights do. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. So it'd be kind of a shame if they go their whole careers and not fight a wrestler like me. I want to fight the best guys, and hopefully this year at the same time, September 2025, that's what we'll be talking about.
Kevin, tremendous respect for you and what you're doing. Check out Kevin Lee battling Thiago Oliveira this Saturday at Lights Out 17. If you can't make it to beautiful, scenic Wayne, Michigan, you can catch all the action on Spectation Sports. Appreciate it. All the best to you on Saturday. Safe travels, and enjoy the Dunkin' Donuts, my man. I'm drinking the same thing.
There you go. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.